We have been thrust willy-nilly right back into another charity organization scandal, and this is coming right after the Open Hand Foundation scandal, which once the lid was blown off of that puppy, it was not going back to being closed. It was wide open. Everyone was talking about it. It was crazy. And very sad at the fact that all that money was just sitting. Anyways, today we're talking about soft giving. Soft giving worked with a bunch of very large streamers. We're talking XQC, Asmongold, that type of caliber, huge streamers, streamers that most people would think to, they would be able to trust with like a charity stream. And this is not to say that the streamers are at fault at all, because nobody actually knew what was going on behind the scenes at Soft Giving. That's right, Soft Giving was behind the curtain, really just taking a big old poo on everyone that decided to use their organization for charity streams. So let me give you a little analogy here of what soft giving actually is. So soft giving is a company who partners with streamers to do charity streams. Soft giving will give a small portion of the money donated to the streamers, and soft giving will take an amount. Now we'll get into the amount that they take in a little bit here. So soft giving is the person taking the money and giving it to the charitable organizations. They are a middleman. They don't do anything other than take money and put it into a charitable organization. They are basically a temporary bank account for funds to be transferred and nothing more. They are not doing any sort of rocket science. Their staffing is not that they don't have that many people working for them. All they do is move money from one place to another. Now, you're probably thinking, that's not that much work. And by golly, you'd be right about that. It really is not that much work. And so the next question you may be asking is, how much money are they taking? Well, you'd be surprised to hear that they are taking nearly 50% of all of the donations that fans have donated to these larger streamers for these charitable fundraisers. Almost 50% simply to move money from here to there, and that is it. Now, I'm not going to go out and say that they have no costs associated with doing that. Of course, they do have staff, they do have people that they need to pay. They have a CEO that wants to get paid as well, and they should. They justifiably should want to make some money for providing this service. Now, however, 40% in this or 50% in this space is ludicrous. It's an absolutely astronomical amount that should not be taken out of the raised amount. Now, most companies in this space that do what soft giving does, they normally take around 10%. I'm going to go ahead and read you guys a little passage on the whole soft giving situation. And in the passage, it goes over what companies like this that do exactly what soft giving does normally take. So, compared to soft giving's competitors like Tiltify and Donor Drive, both of which Twitch recommends to streamers, the process of donation funds passing through another charity before making their way to their intended destination is unusual. In the scenario where a third party manages the funds without the charity's oversight, there's far more likelihood of misuse and profiteering, said Zach Weigel, the CEO of Charity Gamers Outreach. So, this is basically just saying that anytime you have a middleman, the chance of misuse of whatever money that they are handling significantly increases. It's almost bound to happen. Like I said, they are basically acting as a bank account, and they can do when while they have that money, they can do whatever they want with that money while they have it. Now, to go on with this passage, on those other services, charities sign up and pay a monthly or annual service fee to allow influencers to set up their campaigns. As a part of that process, those charities authorize Tiltify and Donor Drive to assess a pre-agreed upon administration fee after a donation has been received. The money is never held by a third party. Tiltify and Donor Drive simply connect to the charity's Stripe, PayPal, Amazon Pay, or other payment accounts and deduct the administration fee. So this is just saying that normally they will collaborate with the charitable organizations and agree on a fee that the middleman will take out of the amount. It is a group process between the charities and the middlemen. This was not happening with soft giving. They apparently soft giving were not talking or were not collaborating with any of the charitable organizations at all. And once again, that just opens up a whole sea of possibilities, a whole shitstorm that could possibly happen on soft giving side if really any higher up decides to be a little greedy. All it takes is, for them to convince a couple other higher ups, hey, we might want to take a little bit more off the top. And clearly that's exactly what happened. Now, the last little part of this passage here we go. On top of its service fees, Tiltify, for example, charges anywhere from 3.5 to 5% fee, according to its CEO, Michael Wasserman, making the sum of fees that cut into the total donation approximately 10% for most charities. So as I said, normally these companies, they take around 10%, nowhere near 46%. Now, Softgiving. During 2022, Softgiving raised more than $3.56 million in donations, according to tax records filed by the Gavinga Foundation, the pass-through nonprofit that Softgiving partners with. Around 1.92 million of that ultimately went to the intended charities. Nearly 1.65 million, roughly 46% of that money went to Softgiving in fundraising expenses, the tax records show. Now, once again, 46% is an absolutely astronomical number that should never be reached by any company doing something like this, where they're just tasked with moving money from one place to another. That is just horrendously terrible. And these are all alleged. This is alleged, but it's from publicly available tax records. So I really don't understand what they thought was going to happen when people reviewed these tax records and found out that, hey, it looks like they took, quite a bit of this money. We're just not going to look at that. We're not going to raise an eyebrow and really, do a little deep dive as to what exactly is going on here. Apparently, they just thought that this was all going to be swept under the rug and that none of this was going to happen. Either that, or they were just looking for a really quick payout. They expected for this to happen, and now that it is happening, they're just going to be attempting to change their name, as they already have, to Brandfluence. So they're already trying to do the little roundabout where they keep changing their company names and expect nobody to know who they are anymore. They just, that's a new company, Brandfluence. I can trust that company. Let's go do another charity fundraiser. That's not going to happen. Now that now that the kibosh has been put on this, nobody's going to ever work for this company again. People are going to follow them under whatever alias they decide to use and completely shite on their parade. Maybe they were just looking for a really quick payout. Who really knows? But clearly, there was a lot of greed behind it. It was a lot of just misuse of the money. And it's really unfortunate because the streamers had no idea this was happening. Neither did the fans. This was not publicly disclosed information anywhere. No one knew that Softgiving was going to be taking anywhere near this amount. Everyone probably assumed that they were taking the industry standard of around 10%, 3.5 to 5%, and then the 10% is. So 10%, I guess, is the average. Tiltify takes a little bit less than that, but that's what people were probably expecting. But no, what ended up happening was they ended up getting half of their money skimmed, so the fans kind of got scammed. Soft giving, more like hard taking. I would not be surprised if they renamed their company that after all that they have done at this point. But I'm going to give you guys a little analogy here of exactly what they did to these people and why it is so bad. That's like going to the barber telling you that your haircut was $30. You give him the money, and unbeknownst to you, he ends up taking $15 out of the $30, and your haircut was really only supposed to be $15. That's basically what happened here. Nobody knew that this was happening. So, that's basically the whole situation. It doesn't really go any deeper than that. Once again, very unfortunate for the fans of these influencers who everyone was just blindsided. Nobody really knew that this was happening. So, yeah, guys, that's the whole story. That's all I got. See ya.